Welcome back, everyone. This is Jason, aka J Bone of the Ramblin' About Wrestling podcast, here to bring you this week's Lucha Underground review of episode number 16. But before I get into that, I just want to give a quick shout out to my wife, let her know how awesome she is again, and let you know how awesome she is because she was at the store the other day, and she knows I love this show that I'm about to review. I'm always talking about it, and she's actually watched a few episodes of it with me, and she likes it too. And she thought of the show when she thought of me, and she got me this shirt. So I had to show it off. So I had to share it with you. I thought it was incredible. Um, very, very lucha style, very Day of the Dead-ish. And when I say Day of the Dead, I don't mean Walking Dead. I mean as in the Mexican culture, the Mexican holiday, Day of the Dead. So, just had to share that with you before we get into my favorite sound of the whole week. You know what time it is. Number 16. Here we go. And the episode starts out where, and I had to watch this again. It was so weird how this episode started out. Very uh, if you ever seen the movie, now I'm not going to be able to remember the name of the movie. It's a Quentin Tarantino movie where half of it's vampire killers and half of it's um, bank robbery stuff. It's right on the tip of my tongue, and I'll remember it later. I'm kicking myself now because I can't remember it. Starts out just like a Quentin Tarantino movie. You know, cars cruising. It's at nighttime. It's on a freeway. The street lights are going over it as it's driving, and then it slowly pans from the front to the back, where we see, and it does like a X-ray, you know, where you can like see into the trunk, and there we see Black Lotus is bound and gagged in the trunk of this vehicle, and then it cuts to the regular part of the show, and I had to remind myself, and because when Black Lotus last week breaks into Dario Cueto's underground, and it happened so fast, I didn't realize that she was kidnapped. That someone actually like got her from behind. That segment happened like I blinked at the wrong time and I missed it. So someone kidnapped her right after she broke into Dario Cueto's underground to find the mystery character who she was speaking to, who hopefully will be revealed soon. Can't wait to see that. So that's how the episode starts. She's in the trunk of this vehicle as it's flying down the freeway, obviously on its way somewhere. So then we get to the normal part of the show, and it's a match between, actually a rematch between Aerostar and Drago. And like I said on the podcast with the guys, I don't remember when these two faced off last. I don't remember if it was last week or the week before, but nonetheless, Drago won that match. Now, this one is the second time they've faced off, and Aerostar comes out with a win on this one, and the crowd is very, there's no heels in this match. The crowd just loved the match between these two fan favorites, pretty much. Aerostar obviously being newer, but earning a lot of respect from the crowd. Drago, can't say enough about him. He's one of my favorites on the show. So much fun to watch. Between his style of wrestling and his outfit, he wears to the ring with the mask and the horns and everything. It's great stuff. Um, so they each have a win apiece. Dario Cueto comes out and he sets up a best of 5 series, and whoever wins the best of 5 between these two gets one of Dario Cueto's opportunities. I don't know about you, but if I got an opportunity from Dario Cueto, I'd be a little scared. just knowing El Jefe. Excuse me. So yeah, I can't wait to see. Obviously these guys are so good. They're probably going to go all 5 matches. Hopefully I hope they do, because these guys are not boring to watch in the least. They're going to take it to extremes with this. I'm assuming it'll be great. We then see a little promo for King Cuerno and Johnny Mundo are going to be wrestling later. We then come to what I assumed was actually going to be the headliner of the show. I was surprised it was like in the middle of the show, but nonetheless, all these matches could be headliners in my book. Honestly, we see Cage versus Prince Puma, and Cage, as we found out from last week, is trying to get that #1 contender spot from for himself, excuse me, and to get a championship match against Prince Puma. So he has to beat him to get it, and he does beat Prince Puma in this match. But what's interesting was Prince Puma came down by himself, and Conan was nowhere in sight. So and they were talking about him during the match, like, oh, he's still injured, obviously from his beatdown from Cage, and we wish him well. We hope he's back soon, and but then all of a sudden, towards the end of the match, as Puma's getting beat, Conan shows up, and you can tell he's in the corner of Prince Puma, but then all of a sudden he throws in the towel, because Puma's getting the snot kicked out of him. And they between Matt Striker and Vampiro basically say that he just that Conan handed Cage a championship match. You got to really wonder if Conan's going to stick with Prince Puma. Did he just betray him? Does he have a plan in mind? I think he does, but it's hard to say. Conan's one of those characters, it's like, I don't know, 1 minute you're like, yeah, it's Conan, and then you're like, oh, I don't know if I can trust him. So we'll have to see where it goes. But nonetheless, Conan's back, and I don't know when Cage's match against Prince Puma for the championship is going to happen. Nonetheless, obviously, they have to make some kind of, they have to give him a new championship belt. One of them's going to win. So whoever wins is going to get a new belt out of this, I guess. And hopefully, if Cage wins, he will destroy this one. Next, we see a segment where Sexy Star is talking to Dario Cueto in his office, and she obviously wants some revenge on the crew, what I like to call Cueto's crew. And Cueto informs her that Big Rick also obviously wants some revenge as well. And I believe how it went was he said that whoever wins their matches, respectfully wins their matches, whether Sexy Star wins her match or Big Rick wins his match, then they'll get a chance to go against the crew. Well, not against Sexy Star, but I honestly think Big Rick's chances are a little better. But if Sexy Star does go against these guys, I think she's going to need a little help. So we'll have to see where it goes. Obviously, someone's going to get revenge on the crew soon. Can't wait to see that. Then we have another newcomer to the temple, by the name of Vinny Massaro going up against Pentagon Jr. Pentagon Jr. has been on quite a roll, hurting people, breaking arms, and well, sure enough, he continues his streak. He's on a roll. He beats Vinny Massaro, puts him through a table, and then breaks his arm. And he dedicated the match to the master. Looking up at Sky. So it's like, I've got a feeling. We're gonna see this master soon. I don't know. I don't think they would make that big of a deal out of it if there wasn't going to be someone coming up, but we'll have to wait and see. But nonetheless, with all of his wins, you got to wonder if Pentagon Jr.'s racking up chances for a championship match soon. I'd have to assume so. Then we have the headlining match of the show, this episode, King Cuerno versus Johnny Mundo. Johnny Mundo obviously wanting some revenge for all the times that King Cuerno has attacked him. And, Johnny Mundo's knee is still banged up from all those attacks. And they put on a hell of a match. Unfortunately, it ended in a double countout. But the match still went on. And went on throughout the temple, around where, went up the stairs, over where people are sitting, standing, looking on. And they finally stopped when Johnny Mundo put King Cuerno through like a fenced off area, a giant fence barricade. And, they were both done then. So, great match. I'm sure this feud is not done yet. And, hopefully Johnny Mundo's knee will get better soon. And just when you think the episode is done, we see the same car from the beginning of the episode where Black Lotus was, tied up, gagged, and bound. And the trunk opens, and the trunk opens up. The guy reaches in to get her. Before he does that, he says something. I rewound it a couple times, and I still didn't get what he said. So if you caught what he said, put it in the comments below. Let me know what he says. But nonetheless, that's where it ends. The guy says something to her, and then he reaches in to grab her, and then the episode's done. Cuts to credits. And that's another great thing about this show is it's not just the action in the ring. The produced scenes backstage are great. Now they're actually taking it outside of the temple, and we're seeing other locations now. Wherever they're taking Black Lotus, and all this revolving around the guy who's being kept in Dario Cueto's underground. So I can't wait. Hopefully, we'll get to see next week, where this continues. And so that's where the episode ends. But I just want to touch on something else real quick. I heard in the news that very controversial name in the world of wrestling, Vince Russo, was backstage at a Lucha Underground event, and an article came out that Vince Russo went on his website and denied the report from the Wrestling Observer newsletter and said he suggested to Lucha Underground officials that they use more female wrestlers on the show, a suggestion that reportedly wasn't taken very well. Whether this is true or not, I don't know. Russo denies it. Obviously, he's going to try to save face if this is true, because he's trying to, preserve whatever reputation he has left. I mean, I've even said that, in these videos reviewing episodes of Lucha Underground. But obviously, I meant it as a compliment, as in, was constructive criticism. It wasn't an insult to the show. It was, hey, they got Sexy Star, Evilise. Um, Hopefully, somewhere down the road, they can incorporate more women luchas. I know there's more out there. I know they're used more um, in AAA. So hopefully, somewhere down the road, they can bring in some more. They also have what's her name? Oh, Katrina. Katrina. Um, she hasn't wrestled on the show yet, though. She's just come out as a valet to Mil Muertes and now Phoenix, and so maybe she'll get in the ring sometime. We'll see. But nonetheless, and that Black Lotus, she was also a wrestler in the WWE some years ago. She was Savannah, I think it was who it was. That's what her name was. But it was she didn't get up to the main roster. I don't think she was in Florida Championship Wrestling before it became the NXT brand. So yeah, I hope we see more women's matches. Obviously, just to complement what they already have. If Vince Russo said the same thing, you you can only imagine. You know, he would have said something like, "Hey, let's bring back the Nitro Girls and put them on Lucha Underground." And it's like they can be with the band. Maybe something stupid like that. I don't know. But nonetheless, the show is great. Keep doing what you're doing. Hats off to the producers. And yeah, can't wait to see what's next. And yeah, so that's it for this one. Lucha Underground number 16 is in the books. Can't wait for 17 next week. Thanks for watching.